You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Let's discover hard cover months, but it's this enough so you can know what's up in the hood.
Art has always been a way for people to express themselves. Arts education has always been deemed as important, but it's always been treated as otherwise. Rahm Emanuel and other CPS officials promised that all students across the city would receive an education in the arts. In 2014, Raise Your Hand Illinois conducted a survey and collected data from about 170 Chicago public elementary schools. They discovered that 65% of those schools don't offer the minimum 2 hours of arts education per week.
My name is Gregory Buckner. I'm 17. I go to Shy Arts.
My name is Zion, and I am a dance major.
Tyler Jackson. I'm 17 years old. I go to the Chicago High School of the Arts.
My name is Armani Howard. I am 22 years old. I am a working artist.
With dance, there are different types. So each type, I dance in contemporary, modern, jazz, and lyrical. And in those dances, my emotions, they influence my moves. So that's how I express myself.
I feel like throughout any style I use, like painting, drawing, illustrating, or anything graphic, color is usually something that's very consistent. I usually consistently use the same color palette to enforce my ideas.
Get in the idea of what my style is, one, but then also just experimenting with it and experimenting with the influence of other styles, experimenting with just all the different types of art that's out there, because within it goes back into your own work. So if you go out into the world and you experience new things, and I kind of use that loosely, it doesn't actually have to be just painting. It could be food, it could be music, it could be someone's culture, that's all art. So if you go out and you experience as many of those different things as you can, then that's going to eventually influence your art, because you're now taking in so much new stuff that you can take inspiration from. You're taking so many new factors of the world that you're living in to experience the work itself and just art. If that was the mindset we had for everything, the things around us we wouldn't have. We wouldn't have cameras, we wouldn't have planes, we wouldn't have any of that stuff.
I get a little bit upset because with art, you're supposed to express yourself.
What am I supposed to be doing then? If I'm not doing this, is there something I should be doing?
I really don't care what anybody else say, because if you want to do it, you should do it, because it's your life. It's all about you. It's not about what anybody else thinks about you.
That's also why I chose dancing, because with dance, there are no limitations, and I can express myself in any other way.
I'm not gonna conform to what I'm supposed to be doing, because that's an idea that doesn't really exist.
So it's kind of goes into a whole nother story of things, but it's just that person's personal fear. And they don't do that in their own life. So yes, because you are both in the same world of things, if you want to try something that you think that, yes, it may be a lot of work, just do it. Just try it. That's, I don't know, that's just to me, that's just the most demeaning thing you could do to someone. If someone's trying to do something that, just because it's not the conventional way, yes, it's not science, you can blow something up if you don't chemically do it right. But besides that, you should be able to try anything. Just because you're at a certain level doesn't mean that you can't just keep shooting for something bigger, because then it's what are you going to do at that point?
What inspired me to dance was when I was 5 years old and I was in my first recital. I guess after that I always wanted to be a dancer, and since I was told I couldn't say certain things growing up and I couldn't do such things growing up, I chose dance because with dance, I can do whatever I want and no one can tell me what I can and can't do.
Like just looking at different stuff on the media, like if I really like to see what they're doing and I really want to go for it, it like inspires me to actually like push myself to do it, because I just feel like we can do anything that we put our mind to. So, and what really inspires me is myself, to be honest, because I believe I can do whatever I want. So, yeah.
At first, it was just like the possibility of like what I can do. Seeing like a painting for the first time, seeing like artwork for the first time, and just like realizing that like a human did that. And I don't know, I just don't want to make this seem like it's very cheesy, but like at this point now it's like completely different. I want to like see how many people I can like positively influence in the world.
When I was younger, my elementary school didn't have art class for at least 5 years. So, and I really didn't have like a lot of people in my school didn't have a lot of experience with art, and art can portray your feelings in so many different ways.
It was kind of cheesy though. It was like you use Crayolas and like that. Even now, I've gotten older and I've been able to appreciate those like those materials, because like, yeah, it's color pencils. It's still something you can create artwork with, but like we also had art teachers that weren't very like thought-inducing. Like they weren't like, it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, here's some construction paper, here's some crazy scissors, some glue and colored pencils, have fun. And like, yeah, it almost becomes like, it almost just becomes like a joke. Like the way school approaches art, it's like a joke the way they treat it. So we did, but I wouldn't, now that I know what art is, I wouldn't consider it an art class.
When I was in elementary school, I had an art class pretty much from when I started until I was in about the 7th grade, when I guess like CPS like budget got cut or whatever. So like I've had an art class for a majority of my life. There were like maybe 2 or 3 years where I didn't, because, you know, since I go to art school, I kind of have that extra education. But outside of that, no, not really. Yeah, I feel like school should provide an arts education, like even not just in art, but like bring back art classes and like dance classes, like music classes, just because I feel like if kids who like, there are a lot of kids who aren't exposed to like those type of things, and if they had that exposure, then they would feel, you know, more open to express themselves, and they would be less into like social media and like stuff that kind of distracts you from the world outside. Like I feel like art classes would just help you gain an appreciation for kind of like the world around you.
At least like get the idea of like what you can do with art and like what's the possibilities of it. There should be more of like a realistic focus of it. The only thing is that a lot of people, like a lot of teachers and instructors, like it's kind of sad because like art is a very like, it should be a very unbiased and open thing, but a lot of like art teachers can tend to be very limiting. Like once like a younger artist or just anyone who's younger, they just think that it's like you can only do so much at that point in time. And like, yes, that's true, your art gets refined over time. You become more experienced and become better the older you get. But it's just limiting if like you're shooting for this art at a very young age to like mold that, so that way when you do get older, you're even better than what you were when you were younger. Like it should be mandatory almost. Like as much as we have like gym and like math and all those things, it should definitely be mandatory, but it should be refined and like, I don't know, they should just go back to the drawing board with it and just like treat it as if it was one of those other classes.
People have always had different ways of expressing themselves, and within those communities, boundaries have been set, thus holding them back and telling them that they can't work outside of their chosen medium. The people shown here are not bothered by what people say and do it anyways because it's what they love to do. Hopefully, city officials will one day recognize how much of an impact art can have on a student.
Art is like, it's kind of like, at this point in time where it's like undermined and like how powerful it is, but you can like change someone's life with art. Someone can look at something and can be from a certain area, and like just because they looked at something that they didn't understand and it touched them, they're now influenced to like want to go do something.
I was thinking about going to school for film.
Man, that don't even make any money. It's a waste of time.
Oh yeah? You think so?
I know so.
I don't know, man.
Conversations like that is not uncommon when discussing the arts.
As creators ourselves, we're no strangers to being told that the arts aren't worth pursuing. But we wanted to hear from other young creative minds.
While we're at it, we're going to hear from professionals in the arts to get their perspectives on their artistic journeys.
We'll learn about career opportunities and why or why not artists continue pursuing their work post-secondary.
We've gathered a variety of Chicago artists specializing in disciplines ranging from music to dance and poetry to hear their thoughts on the matter. So join us as we dive into the world of Chicago youth artists.
My name is Victoria, and I've been doing dance for 13 years.
My name is Divine Favor Osuji, and the type of art that I do is poetry.
My name is Jaden. I just turned 20. Yeah, I just turned 20. And artistic choice, I am a photographer.
I would always used to go to these parties in Waukegan with my family, and I come from like a very Hispanic household. And so the type of music that we would hear, there's like hupango, bachata, cumbia, and I've just learned that since I was like from a very small age. My family taught me how.
I'm just not like someone who like does like ballet.
It's more than a passion for me, it's like an expression of my voice.
I love my teacher. I work with him once a week and I practice on my own, and usually when I finish playing something and master it, I perform it at like a nursing home or something like that, or a recital at his house. Like whenever I play with him, I could really see his passion, you know, like he loves the cello, he understands it, you know, and he understands classical music. He understands how to convey the emotions that you're trying to convey, you know. And just through learning from him, I've really seen that, and I've learned from that too. And I've really just learned the power of the cello, the voice of the cello, you know.
Currently I do flamenco and tango, and it's kind of like a dance where we use stomps in order to incorporate rhythm, and we use snaps and things that we call flowers, which is where we turn our hands into doing these fluid movements. If like I'm built up or if I'm angry, typically like dance could embrace that emotion and make it into something that could be really beautiful.
I think I started writing poetry when I was, around the age of 7. That was like primarily when I left Nigeria for the second time. I think it was more of a way for me to adjust to my like new setting, mainly because of the fact that I didn't really know anyone around me. So I thought of poetry as a way for me as my own self-expression. And I guess later on when I entered high school, that was like a platform for me to like express my poetry to the masses. Well, specifically the Black Student Association at my school.
Well, I feel like it's just like my other program. It's on the South Side, so there are a lot of Black kids, and I feel like it's a whole like misconception that the South Side is bad and that like teens are always troubled and always doing like bad things. I feel like it's nice to have that, to be able to like another way to express themselves in the art form. I also feel like with dance, it's very like white dominated. So I feel like it's nice to be able to see like a lot of communities and like other programs that I've been in myself and witness there's like a lot of people of color, and they're actually, you know, they're doing something that they love and that they enjoy.
I want to start my own studio. Like I want to give people the opportunity to have access to equipment that lots of other people don't have access to. being able to network and meet like other photographers, actors, filmmakers, artists, and be able to have a chance to make something out of that for themselves.
And like I said, I really didn't like it. It was hard. Just playing any instrument, when you start, you suck, you know, so it's not very fun playing. But cool, and I was getting better, you know, so sorry, I got a little sidetracked, but yeah, I think my parents, it started as just a forcing thing. Now they don't tell me to practice, I just practice on my own. So I'm kind of thankful they forced me to keep. I mentioned my cello teacher, but I want to talk about him more because he's like one of my favorite people on this planet. He definitely inspired me to play the cello. Like if I had like another cello teacher, I don't know if I could do it because like I really didn't like the cello. But yeah, my teacher, Mr. Hoppy, he understands classical music. He understands how to convey the emotions that you're trying to convey, you know. And just through learning from him, I've really seen that. I've learned from that too. And I've really just learned the power of the cello, the voice of the cello, you know. So yeah, my cello teacher he really motivated me to work hard, to eventually play something really beautiful.
My oldest brother sings, and like for me that was like, I loved it when he sang because it's like, I don't know, I just love hearing it fill the house, and I think maybe that was what kind of caused me to love it, because it's like the connection between my siblings when that connection wasn't there, you know, because of, you know, time and our age difference made it difficult. And but yeah, I think, yeah, mentors and like the people you're around, the people you want in your life, they will definitely affect how you view art and music and if you love it or not.
Growing up, people were very much like, you don't want to pursue the arts, you don't want to, like, you will like never have money, you'll always do this, you'll always do this. And I just think that that's not really a way to look at life. Like, I'm more like financially secure now because of like the work that I put in and my partner and I put in and our staff puts in. But I don't remember ever hating pursuing what I loved. And I think that people that don't pursue it don't understand that. I think like they go, well, you hardly have any money, you must be super miserable, or like you're never gonna live in a nice place, or what if you never get this, what if you never get that? And I think that if you're someone that is really passionate about the arts, you're happy to be doing it and like you're grateful to be doing it. So I think our brains work a little different, and I can honestly say that like, while yes, I have a little bit more of like like I feel more secure now, I can truly say I don't think I'm like happy. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I've always been happy doing it, so I'm still happy doing it.
I think I feel pressure from other people that I have to keep doing it, or else it feels like it all went to waste. All the money, all the time, all the frustration. Like if it doesn't keep going, then it's like, what was it all for? But I don't know. I know that's also not a really great way to look at it, because it's like not everything in your life has to be fruitful. Like, you know, it's like lessons learned and the process.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle using my art as a profession, especially starting out. You've got to balance both business and art.
I learned that the world of business is slightly more important than being talented, unfortunately. People are like, man, what are you talking about? My talent always trumps all. Hard work always trumps all. But I understand knowing the business, knowing the jargon, and having connections, especially when you do it at a younger age, guarantees you the opportunities to be paid for your art more so in a fair manner. I noticed that when I was younger, there's been chances where I definitely had my art being displayed in different places. Actually, I don't know if they still have it, but Lurie Children's Hospital in Lincoln Park, I did a AIDS marketing campaign with them, and I got some artwork from them, and that was the first time I was paid for my art. It was pretty cool.
There were times where I had traditional careers just to make money. Like, you know, I'm 38 years old. I opened the studio at 29. From like, you know, high school on to opening the studio, I worked so many like various jobs, whether it was like corporate or I was a clerk at the Board of Trade for a while, which was really interesting. I was a nanny for like a million years. But I always looked at those as like transient things, you know, like I'm like, I need to do this to make money, to pay my bills, but eventually I'm hoping I'll work hard enough and like teach enough and develop enough of a following. And like that's where my business partner, she really stepped in with that. She had a following where our dance studio is located, and we came together to open what we have. But both of us are still shocked by it now. We're like, wow, we can't believe we have this. It's cool.
After high school, I want to continue doing dance. I want to go to studios with my cousin or just go take random dance classes and just try to see what I can do, see if I can put myself out there. And that would kind of be my side, while I would kind of mainly focus on getting my bachelor's, my GED and all that.
Like when I graduate, I wouldn't be able to have this like a straightforward like job. Like if I do like law, I could become a lawyer. But with dance, I have to really like audition to put myself out there. And even if I audition, doesn't mean I actually get the role. Doesn't mean I actually get to even be in the company.
I went to Columbia College, and my parents were like, you can't major in theater or dance. You have to like major in something else. But the only reason why I went to Columbia College is because you could take like your electives could be in any department you wanted. So by the time I technically graduated with my arts and entertainment management degree, like I was like a stage combat class short of like being an acting major. So it was like I felt like I got the best of both worlds, and the reality is like, hey, mom and dad, now I own a business, so maybe it is glad that I did, like maybe it's a good thing I did some of those classes, because I definitely think it helped.
I think my one fear would be judgment. That if I were to be asked, oh, what do I do? And I say dance, the fear of that someone's gonna judge me, like that's not real. Like you need to go and get a real career. And I feel like people's doubts and worries can rub off on you. And the more that people tell you that's not a real job, it's not a real job, like it's gonna lead to nowhere. You eventually start believing it yourself. And that can cause you to go down a hole.
But I feel like it's like how much do you want it? Like if you go out there and you actually, you know, you take the classes, you do the skill, you stretch, you have the mindsets to do it, I feel like why not? I mean, there's plenty of different ways for you to be a dance company, dance team, like you can do it. But I feel like if you're just like not as like motivated, then I feel like you shouldn't do it.